Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. I'm finally doing another Carnivorous plant update after all these years. It's been quite a while since I've done one. The last one anyone saw, if anybody who actually watched the originals is watching this, it was a while ago. A lot has happened since then. But that was my temperate collection. This is a little bit of my tropical, subtropical, and just indoor carnivorous plants, if you will. But this is my most recently acquired plant. This is a Drosera ordinensis ex durbensis, I believe. But it's a nice pedalurus complex, also known as the woolly sundews. But they like it hot. I keep mine at around 95, and I keep it at 80 at night. But it's looking pretty good. The interesting thing about this plant is a lot of the older leaves turn, the older leaves turn pretty red, and the newer ones kind of come out more greenish, which is kind of interesting. It might be trying to go into kind of that dry summer dormancy, but the leaves are still alive. They're still producing that glue and all that jazz. But it's a nice looking plant. It's doing pretty well. I can't complain about this one. It's a beautiful plant. It's been growing a lot for me, and it's been doing quite nicely. Up next is my pygmy Drosera. Get some of them up here. But here's my two pygmies, or three I guess I have. This is Drosera pulchella pink flower. Very nice plant. Only about the size of a fingernail, as you can see. But it's a nice one. They're called pygmy Drosera for a reason. But it's a beautiful plant. I've managed to keep this one at the dry summer dormancy as well. But I might let it go into that this coming year. But I'm just enjoying them a lot. Here's Drosera scorpioides. It's like basically a giant for pygmy sundew. As you can see next to my finger, I mean, that's a sizable, or relatively sizable plant. These guys are just plugging along. They've been doing great as well. And this is just kind of a mystery Drosera, or mystery pygmy Drosera, if you will. But I believe this is a hybrid of some sort, although I'm not positive what it is. It has kind of like purplish flowers. If anybody has any idea, let me know, but I doubt anybody knows, or anybody who's watching this might know. But if you do, let me know. It's a cool plant. Then up next, these guys down there. Up next I have probably the most stereotypical sundew, period. Drosera capensis. Yeah, nothing much to say about this one. It's a good plant. It just does its thing. I have a bunch of little seedlings of this and stuff, but I mean, if you're a beginner just getting into Drosera, I'd recommend this one. It just does its thing. Doesn't really require any extra heating or cooling or any of that. Just keep it not frozen and it'll probably grow. This is Drosera slack eye, or slacky eye, depending on who you ask. But this is another South African sundew. This is a South African rosetted species. But it's pretty sizable, honestly. But it's a nice one. Yeah, I like this one a lot. See if we can get a focus there, but it's a neat one because it kind of has interesting hairy structures, if you will, on the underside of the leaves, which is unique in the genus, or at least the South African Drosera. But this is a nice one. This one requires a little bit cooler nights, kind of likes that temperature swing. And I keep the sucker under some bright lights, but yeah, I've been feeding it a lot, so the leaves have kind of lost that. If you don't feed them, their leaves kind of color up; they're a little bit more red, but I've been feeding this one a lot just to promote growth. I'm hoping to get seeds from it to propagate this sucker, but it's doing great. Love this one. This is probably my favorite rosetted species. I have a couple spatulata as well. But I'm probably not going to show these because I'm probably not going to show them because they look pretty terrible. Oh yeah, I almost forgot this one. Drosera multifidula extrema, a tropical species. It's technically binata. I think it's just a form, but they just have gigantic leaves. Honestly, if I was to recommend the sundew to a beginner just getting into the hobby, this would be the one. I mean, just give it space, it'll grow. Has massive leaves, beautiful, and you basically can't kill it. I neglected this thing for such a long time. It'd probably be bigger if I didn't. I mean, look at the leaves on this sucker. You can't go wrong. Big one. Up next are my pinguicula. Again, these are all just my tropical quote-unquote plants, but this is Pinguicula moriensis. This one I got kind of small. It's nice. It doesn't flower for me yet. I've heard this form. I forget what the form is. Yeah, there we go. I might even try to pronounce that because I'm sure I'll do it wrong. But yeah, this form is supposed to have some stunner flowers, but it hasn't done anything for me yet because again I got it kind of small. But you know, it's nice. It's just kind of in my collection. Doesn't really do much. Don't really have to do anything to it. Just needs that kind of winter dormancy. Not cold, just dry. And then here's my kind of trashy looking, but I still love it, Heliamphora. It's native to, I believe, Florida. But you know, it's kind of had a little bit of a die off because it's gotten cooler. They just do that. But it's smaller, or it gets bigger than that Moriensis clone. But yeah, it just does its thing. I keep this one pretty wet. They like it pretty wet. But, you know, it's a decent one. I had a nice main plant, but they don't really live that long. They like individual plants, but you can kind of have like a colony, if you will, of them. But it's a fun one. It's a nice ping. It's kind of cool. It's native to the United States as well. Here is my Heliamphora minor. I actually got this one for free, which is pretty awesome. Somebody gifted it to me. But yeah, it's still in juvenile. I've had this thing for such a long time. It's still a juvenile plant, still juvenile pictures. They look really nice as adults. But I've been keeping it, you know, highland conditions. I've been keeping it pretty cool, and it's doing well. It's in mixture. It's kind of an unorthodox media mixture. I keep it in. I think it's a mixture of like 40% peat, 20% perlite, and then just like sphagnum moss. And as you can see, the sphagnum moss kind of took over. But it's been doing okay. Plugging along. It's probably gonna get really shaky because I'm filming this on my phone. But its pictures they have some nice coloration to them. I've been keeping it under like pretty intense light, but not super intense because I don't want to cook it. Because some of the lights I keep my Drosera under probably get way too hot for this little guy. But yeah, it's a nice plant. And then what do I have? Last but not least is just a nepenthes I have. This is just like stereotypical like Lowe's nepenthes. I think it's a ventricosa. It might just be a ventricosa, but it might be like a ventricosa exhalata. I don't really know. But yeah, it's just a kind of stereotypical nepenthes. It just does its thing. It's had some weird problems to it. I probably need to repot it. Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah, but if you ever see a nepenthes from like Lowe's or whatever, and it doesn't look completely destroyed, I'd not hesitate to pick it up because they do pretty well. But yeah, it's my carnivorous plant update, I guess. Hopefully I can do some more stuff in the springtime, showcasing my slightly larger temperate collection. But yeah, that's all my subtropical and tropical Drosera, my Heliamphora, Pinguicula, all that stuff. But I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe if you want to, and hope you enjoyed the carnivorous plant content that I have failed to upload for like 4 years.